Welcome to The Bachelor right here on AFTERBUZZ TV. It's season 21, episodes 10 and 11. I had to get all out of the way so we can get to the important stuff. The gang's all here. We're missing Christina, but we have another person who has a very similar name who was on this season, but not Christina. It's close. Her name is Christen, and we're going to introduce you to you in just a moment.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh my gosh. Welcome to the Bachelor After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Danny Hoyt, coming to you right here live from North Hollywood, California on this beautiful Monday evening. Guys, there's a lot we have to get to, and there's also some sentimental moments that might happen tonight. There may be a tear shed from this one to my left, but before we get to tears, I just want to introduce her, and I'm going to do this as best as I can because it might be the last time I ever get to. To my left, as always, for the last 3 years, potentially the last time ever, my friend, my confidant, one of my favorite people in the world. Her name is Chelsea Briche.
That was good. That was good. I'm into it. Thank
Yeah?
you. Yeah. Hi, guys.
To Chelsea's left, I'm going to skip her for a second, and I'll tell you why. As always with us on AfterBuzz, his name is Brooks. He's a alum of The Bachelor. You know him. He has great hair. We call him Dad sometimes. Brooks Forrester.
Yo, Dad in the house. Making it happen.
Now, here's why I skipped her, because we've been trying to get her on. We didn't think we were going to get her tonight.
That's right.
Last minute, she calls me. She's like, Danny, I'm getting an Uber. I'm on my way. I'm coming on AfterBuzz tonight. I want to speak to the people. And she's here, Christen Whitney.
Woo! My voice to be heard.
All the way from
Hi,
Nashville.
everyone. And Danny pronounced my name right, which is a rare.
What do people say?
Christine.
Christine,
Tell us, what do people say, bro?
Yeah, Christine, people do that.
Brooks called her the wrong name on his Instagram like 3 times. It was 4 takes.
I wrote it on the paper wrong.
Special shout out to this opening song from our producer in the booth, Josh Rodriguez, who gave us Good Girls by Lainey. It just came out last week.
Love them.
Make sure you check it out. Josh,
Yeah,
thanks for the
chillin'.
song, man. How are you back in the booth?
I am doing great, guys.
God, he has such a good radio
That's so
voice.
good.
Yeah.
Josh,
it's
give us
great.
like 13 seconds of something. Just talk.
Hey, what's up? I'm Josh Rodriguez. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Josh_Rodriguez_. I'm on BHL
So
Sports
fast.
Weekly, and I'm trying to develop a sports network here at
See
AfterBuzz.
what he means.
Coming
Wow.
at it.
Coming
I'll give you guys a
hot.
hint. Josh is going to be dropping something big tomorrow on something we've been working on something together, so I'm pretty excited for it. Okay, we can cut the song off. Let's get to some Bachelor talk because we had
Josh.
3 hours of juicy goodness.
Drama.
Now, Christen, we saw only 2 hours of this Women Tell All. How many hours did it actually take place?
So we filmed longer than they have filmed any season
How do you know?
in the history
In
of Women Tell All.
Bachelor
In
history.
Bachelor
It was the
history.
most dramatic filming.
The most dramatic Women Tell All ever, and this is going to be the most dramatic episode of AfterBuzz
Ever.
ever. Yeah, we filmed for 5 hours.
Good God.
Ugh,
So you're
nice.
seeing about a third of what actually went
What was
down.
the drinks ratio from drinks to hour for filming?
Drinks to hour? You know,
How many deep were you?
commercial breaks were ceremonial shot. taking
Serious?
Time. Yeah.
Did someone come out with like a tray and be like,
Yeah,
here you go, lady?
yeah, Fireball.
You're
all
joking.
around.
Seriously?
Oh, I'm serious.
They gave you Fireball. That was the choice of shot.
That was
No.
the choice of shot.
Because
And
there
then
was
Corinne,
Canadians
of course,
in-
had her little moment where she like strutted off stage and got
Yeah.
champagne, and
Yes.
then we all got champagne on the break, and
So you guys were just sitting there for 5 hours.
we were, and it flew by.
Wow.
It flew by because everyone had so much to say.
Okay, I was a little confused because when it first
Everyone.
started, it was like lady voice over
Everyone.
lady voice over lady voice. Like Chris Harrison couldn't even get
Couldn't even
a
get a
word
word
in.
in.
Is that what it sounded like in the studio?
Yes. When it first started, the very first, like, 1 minute, Alexis and I looked at each other and I said, oh my gosh, we're back in the Twilight Zone. And she's
Really?
like, what is happening
Was
right
it like
now?
that pre-show?
No!
Pre-show was, like,
Everyone got
normal.
along so great.
As soon as cameras come on.
As soon as the cameras come
Yeah.
on. And I mean, granted, like, everyone had been kind of prodded for the past. There'd been some incentives dangled for people to have dramatic
Are we talking about
opinions.
alcoholic incentives? Let's just get to the chase here.
Future incentives.
What, like what?
Bachelor in Paradise offers.
Maybe.
Get yourself some camera time. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
He knows the game.
No, I'm curious
So
about that
best
because I didn't.
friends immediately become. Everyone's
Enemies.
got to get their
nobody's
airtime.
off
Yeah.
limits.
The thirst
This
was
is the last.
thirsty.
The thirst was real.
The
If you
thirst
had to
was
pick somebody that
thirsty.
was the
You
most
girls
thirsty
are
in the room, who is
thirsty.
it?
I don't know. Can I throw someone under
Yes,
the bus right,
right.
now?
Whatever
The
you
bus
want.
is right there. Toss them.
Does everyone watch this show?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well,
You
I
don't
will
have to.
say there were some girls who like had gone home pretty early who had a lot to say about things that happened
Yeah.
This
after.
season.
Okay, I'm gonna
This
say it.
season.
I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
Lacey, I don't know who you are. I don't know where you came from. And she's like thirsty for an Instagram deal. Like she just stood up and
This is why I
tried
love
to
Chelsea
talk
Briche.
that whole time.
You know-
Were you even on the show?
So is Jasmine. She was thirsty
Oh,
for an Instagram
Jasmine
deal.
was
I don't
coming
even know
in
what that
hot.
means.
Yeah,
What
'cause
does that
so
mean? But I
what?
like it.
Let's do this.
They're like,
Brooks is
tweeting
from
it.
the day Bachelor before, like, the Instagram deals
Yeah.
came into the picture.
Yeah,
But
So
that's
he
right.
doesn't
They're-
understand, like,
Yep.
the more drama I cause, the more money I make next
yeah.
month.
I'm gonna get
Corinne
that
is
fat
cashing
fifth
in.
box.
She's cashing in.
You know?
Girl
So-
knows what
so
she's
So
doing.
here's the thing. Here's the thing, Chris. I don't feel like you got enough screen time because you're a super rad human.
A fantastic
Oh
human.
my
and
goodness.
you're very funny and you're
Keep it
chill
going.
and
Keep it
you're
coming, keep it
normal.
going.
Cool. Red is a great color on you. I was just keeping it going,
You got,
Danny.
you got, you
Stop,
got
Danny.
great hair. It's just like bouncy, and you
nails
walk
are
with purpose.
killing
You
it.
smell fantastic, kind of like a
goodness.
woodsy, like
Very
persimmon.
sexy.
I would vote
A
for if you were
woodsy
running for
person?
president, first female
Persimmon.
president.
First female
Got it.
president.
I'm a
you should
shoo-in.
run for it.
Shoo-in, as long as you're running Democrat.
All right, that was just we were doing a bit. How'd we do? We gave you a lot of compliments.
You did. I'm actually, I was recording on my phone.
They
so.
were all real.
Listen to it at
Anytime
hard times.
for now, when I get like internet trolls hating on me, I'm just gonna replay your guys' audio.
just-
So
Okay,
let's
mom's
do this.
voicemail.
Let's slow it down just a little bit because I know we've given a lot. We just kind of jumped right in. So let's go back to the beginning and talk about what happened with the rest of the fantasy dates before we get to Women Tell All. So we start tonight, and we see the end of, and we see Raven, the whole thing. I felt like it was short. I don't feel like we saw.
Can you wait?
Anything.
Let's not skip over that. Raven, the whole thing, the orgasm, like Nick
Because
Key is good at what he does. I loved it. I loved every bit
It
of it.
looked like
Oh, I
to
was about
me
to throw up.
that some stuff went down based on his body language and being a guy. Am I wrong? Like, ladies,
Yeah.
did you pick
You're
that
not
up in her
wrong.
body language?
I did.
What'd you
Wait.
pick up?
The
You're saying that something
montage
went
body
down?
language of
No,
her,
no.
like the next
Yeah.
8 shots of like the happiest moments ever.
She's like skipping through the snow.
Yeah.
Like,
It was to
I've
a
never
song.
felt this before.
To a song that said "Blow Me, Blow Me."
Yeah, what is that
Well,
song?
no, hold on. I think that was like a weird,
Like-
what are they called? I think it was saying "Show Me."
No, the
No, come
the
on.
subtitle
There's
said
no
"Blow
way.
Me, Blow Me."
Yeah.
So
Brooks and I
I
looked
pictured
at you.
production, you guys. Like I thought about this a lot when the season was airing.
I gave this a lot of thought.
I gave this a lot of thought. I picture the editors in a room, and they're like, they haven't seen sunlight in days.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, right,
And they're
Just
like,
pasty.
yeah.
what can we do with her hometown package? Like they just sit there and
For sure they
they're
do.
freaking trolls, and
Just edit
Raven
porn
was
for them?
nervous about that. Yes, they love it. They love it. They love it. But
So did Raven talk about that prior to the hometown day? Did you guys know that in the house? It wasn't like she was throwing around the virgin card type
no,
of
we
thing.
had a conversation about it, and just like about like that she'd only been with one person, and her and I talked about fantasy suites and stuff like that, but
Okay.
not like we didn't get into the whole orgasm conversation.
Wait, time out. You talked
so-
about fantasy suites like potential hypothetical. Let's say you make it.
Hypothetical.
Do you
How you
sleep
gonna
with
feel about
Hypothetical.
it?
How are you
Yeah.
gonna feel
And
about
what
it? How are
did
you
she
gonna
say?
handle it? She was unsure, and
Okay.
she asked my opinion on it, and so she was unsure, and that was a little short snippet of conversation.
Well, I feel like I would be a bad host if I didn't ask you what was your answer. If it gets the fantasy suites, how?
If I got to the fantasy
Yeah.
suites,
How would that feel
I
for
wasn't
you?
gonna sleep with them,
No.
But you would go.
but I would probably take the time.
Okay.
That's the same kind of thing
Yeah.
I wondered about Rachel because we saw, these shots with her family and how much she's religious and it's important to her and
Mm-hmm.
her faith and things like this. And I didn't take her as somebody that would do that. And so, but she still went. Would
Right.
you say that's a conversation that a lot of girls had in the house? And a stance that a lot of girls had?
No, to be completely honest with you, in what I saw, Raven was the only other person who had like expressed hesitation.
Besides you?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
All the other girls were like, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they didn't love the idea of it. So
Right.
like Astrid made a funny comment one time. She's like, "Ugh, "See,
No
I
one
hate it
remembers
because I'll
my
go
God.
and I'll sleep with him, and then I'll probably get dumped."
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's so sad that that's like
Yeah.
a reality.
But I mean, you guys,
Yeah.
like that's what happens on the show.
But
know,
maybe
but
Raven
it's-
didn't sleep with them. I mean, maybe they just had, some...
To juice it up and
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Kristen, since you didn't get to say that on the show,
Some
what
other
is your,
stuff.
why's your hesitation? I want to give you a chance to say that.
say that again.
What's your hesitation in that, and why for you would that be something that you would be unsure about? You'd go, but you wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't sleep with
And
him.
why is
Repeat
that?
the question.
Why is that important?
Well, for me, this is something they made a huge deal about actually at the beginning of the show,
Yeah.
which was very much overemphasized. But sex is something that's very important for me that I'm saving for marriage. So I definitely wouldn't do it on national TV.
Yeah,
Wait,
so national TV
I
is not
respect
your
that ton, but I
platform.
want-
And that's not a blow at anybody who has.
No.
Yeah.
You know, I have tons of respect for those girls. So.
But here's why I asked you, because I knew
SBC
I knew that was your answer, and I wanted to give you a chance to say it, and applaud you for it, because I think that's
thank
awesome, and
you.
I love when girls have that stance, and I think it's
There it is.
There we
There
go.
it is. I
Thank
knew it
you
was
so
coming.
much. It bothered me that it was like my whole persona and character role. You know, I think they kind of choose things about people and hone in on
Everyone's
that one
gotta
thing. And I'm
have.
like, oh my gosh, there's
did it
so
with
much
Becca
more to
Tilley,
a
too.
person. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
so much more than that, and they overemphasize it. But
I mean, just to give you a little bit of peace of mind, I don't remember that being your defining.
oh, great.
I was
I
like,
don't
as
either,
you were
to be
saying that
honest.
just
Thank you.
now, I'm like,
Yeah, I didn't
I
think
didn't
that
even
either.
know
Just
that
kidding.
that
Come
was
back
a
on
thing.
that.
Yeah, go back on that.
Okay, so we see Raven's date, and then I feel like it ended kind of weird with that whole montage and them kind of saying goodbye. I don't really have any. I've got to be honest. When I watched it, I didn't feel like she was gonna make final two, but because we know the story about Rachel. Corinne's obviously already gone, and we see the wild chemistry between him and Vanessa. So for me, it was like I don't see enough chemistry to warrant her going forward, but we already know she does.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just. I'm so happy that Rachel is the Bachelorette, but I think how like the timing and how they announced it, I think it just sucks. Like,
yeah.
I mean, or at least for me, just as you know, a pure viewer who's watched so many seasons, like you're watching and you already know the outcome, and I love watching a rose ceremony.
Are
be
you
like,
shocked as to why they
I
did
wonder.
that? I know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, my theory is that so that she could have a greater social media response. Because
She
her
was like the
social
least
media,
followed person.
it was like the least followed person,
Yeah.
and wrongly so.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Rachel's
theory we haven't
31.
heard.
Yeah, she's 31, and she's not like she doesn't get the whole social media game as
Right.
much. I'm not saying
She's
it's
about
like
to.
she's about to. She's about to get it real good. And so it's not something that she would just joke. She'd be like, I don't have time for this. I mean, she knows, like, she's driven, she's a lawyer, like,
Yeah.
she's not played the social media game much, so I think, like, that factored into things, as well as, like, maybe she was more even kill
Yeah.
on the show,
Yeah.
so people weren't as much like, oh, go follow.
But
Well,
you know when
we
like you're
definitely-
watching a rose ceremony, you're like, no, I can't believe he sent her home, or you're like, yes,
Yeah.
you got her. Like
Such
I
a
haven't felt
spoiler.
that.
Well, to your point,
At all.
the night she was announced, I pulled up her Twitter and her Instagram.
Yeah.
She had 7,000 followers on Instagram. She has 262K
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
as of this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, to your point, I think it's done well.
It's
It has
such
done
it's
well.
such interesting social proof that we follow in terms of like, oh, that's who I should be following.
They tell
okay,
us
I'll
what
follow.
to do.
Yeah.
Yep, automatically in your
The
brain.
system.
Yep.
Make Corinne great again. The little
Yeah.
plants tonight.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, she's not to
Yeah.
go off on a tangent, but she's getting her own show.
Well, so let's speak
Yeah.
about Rachel here. So we talked about Rachel. Let's talk about Rachel's night. She and Nick had a conversation that was really interesting. And Nick had a couple quotes. He said, "Be willing to have the strength to be a mess sometimes," which sounds like an author's quote.
Sounds like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Pinterest
He's
quote.
like pulling
Nick.
it out of his pocketbook.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
totally.
like, wait,
Quote.
I'm gonna say this now.
He's
And then
like, pause cameras.
And then he puts her on check. He says, if you were to put your ego at the door, what would your heart say? And that's when she was like, that I'm falling in love with you. Like, we saw these really real moments between them and him having some wisdom to ask good questions. You
Yeah.
kind of put him on the spot, like, check your comfort zone. Where are you really at? So we saw his chemistry. You guys all saw it. And then, obviously, we know the outcome. It was weird watching that.
I didn't really feel the chemistry though.
Really?
Yeah.
Not immediately. It wasn't until later, and I don't want to skip there per se, but it was in their conversation of like the breakup scene that I felt anything between the two of them.
Can we talk? Are we at their breakup?
Sure. I mean, we can do that. We still have Vanessa's, but yeah.
Okay. I was just gonna say, I thought it was one of the most classy ways that a woman has left. Like, I think she really held it together. I mean, I think The Bachelor...
She's a very classy woman.
Yeah, she was just so classy. Like, she wasn't just outright pouring and, sobbing to the floor. Like, I just, she really held it together. And they did their thing. They had their moment, and she was out. Like,
Well-
I was just watching her. Like, I really applaud her for the way she handled herself.
And you, I think, bring up a good point, because if they hadn't shown Rachel as the Bachelorette prior to this, that would have been one of those moments, the moments you watch the show for, that
Yeah.
you would have had that gut-wrenching emotional connection with Rachel, and she just didn't make it,
Yeah.
and you would have wanted her, you'd been rooting for her to come back as the Bachelorette, and when
Mm-hmm.
they chose her and announced her, you would have celebrated. But because we already knew, I was checking in on my own emotions. I'm like, it's not falling as
Yeah, I think they messed up.
as hard as
I
it
totally
could, because that's an
agree.
awesome
think they
moment,
messed
and
up.
they fucked it up.
I
Yeah.
wasn't even watching.
Yeah.
I think I was texting someone.
Because it's
and,
hard to
Eden,
watch
I was
because
kinda
you're like, you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
But, yeah. So
Um,
I thought that was really, really graceful of her.
Yeah, she's incredible, and
Yeah.
I guess anything
She's
you guys
really
want to say about
incredible.
Vanessa's?
Yeah.
They take the cold plunge and they do the whole thing, and
Oh, I want to say
that-
this comment on Rachel really
Yeah,
fast again.
go
She's
for
so
it.
funny. I told her, I said, she was the first girl I met in this crazy
Oh, really?
journey. And you're like,
You don't have to say that anymore. You don't have to say crazy journey. We're all
I thought
We're
I
all
got
normal
points
people.
for every time
Yeah.
I use the word journey.
yeah.
and,
Chris isn't here. He's not.
dang it.
points.
I thought they
Sorry.
translated into dollars. I walk
You-
out and they hand me a bigger check or something.
Right, right. You've been brainwashed into saying
Dropped
journey every time.
this amount of time.
It's a journey.
Dropped for the right reasons twice.
By the way, I wanna-
So Rachel, sorry.
Yeah.
First girl I met, very sincere, and I remember meeting her and thinking, if she doesn't win, she's going to be the Bachelorette.
Really?
100%. And I told her that, and she's like, I thought I was going to win.
Oh.
I had, up until the very last minute, she was like, that was pure and real shock.
Yeah.
She goes, Rachel, I knew you were going to be Bachelorette. And she goes, I didn't. I thought I was going to win.
Yeah, she went in there to win.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know who it was, and this isn't necessarily a spoiler, but possibly, and it could be just potential gossip, but we had heard through the grapevine that producers were like, we knew from the moment she walked into casting that was our next
100%.
Bachelorette.
Oh,
We were like,
really?
yep, that's her. Yep.
That's
Okay,
my theory.
Okay,
It's not
so
founded
then
on
just
anything,
to, like,
but-
take that theory another step. Do you think it was like a whisper in Nick's ear that that's what they were going for?
Well, and I
So-
don't think they really needed to plant. They could have been, but I don't think they really needed to. I think
Yeah, that was on his own.
then they could help. They could help just
I think they
chaperone
could help
that.
it, but
Right.
Yeah.
it's like she's such a catch. Like, it'd be pretty easy gig for him
yeah,
to fall in love with
yeah.
her.
Yeah, sure. Well, and John Adams on the chat roll. By the way, shout out to everybody on the
Great
chat
name,
roll for
John
joining us.
Adams.
Hey guys.
John Adams, he said, y'all, Rachel gave Raven a note before she left. Did we catch that? I didn't see that.
No
No,
way.
good catch, John
Rachel
Adams.
gave Raven a
Note
note. No.
before she left.
Oh, that's fun.
It doesn't
No.
surprise me. I mean, listen, when she was announced and they showed the little clip of her, like, after tonight on Women's Hall when she walked back
The
down,
women
and
hugging
all
her.
the women hugging her, like, is that really what it was like? Is she just fully embraced by everybody?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Is there
Is
someone
there
that doesn't?
someone? Yeah.
You could say
no
yeah.
comment.
You could say yeah and say no name.
Okay, yes, no name.
Is it founded on anything, or is it just their personal jealous or vendetta?
Personally, I wasn't there for it, so
Sure.
I can't
I can't believe
fair.
Corinne feels that way.
Here we go.
Astrid
That
again.
is so
My God.
cringe-worthy, damn it, Astrid.
Chris Harrison, you dick.
It is Chris,
I'm
yeah.
just kidding. Okay, so let's
Chris
do this.
had it out for a
Before we
long
get to
time.
Women Till All, Vanessa. On Vanessa's fantasy suite, did you guys feel like their relationship moved forward? Was it planned? Talk about that.
Go. It's all you.
Okay, I feel like Vanessa's relationship with Nick is the one that we've all been rooting for, right? And
Yeah.
I still feel like it's the one that should be in terms of like what's compatible for Nick. But I find it so interesting that like his relationship with Raven, I'm using this contrast to highlight something with Vanessa, is so like fun and they like love and it's just like it seems easy.
Yeah.
And it seems so hard with Vanessa. And maybe that's a good thing because they're like having these challenges.
Yeah,
But there are
exactly.
so many contradictory things in their conversation. She said something like there are things that she won't compromise on, and then in the same breath she's like, but relationships are about compromise and he needs to be able to compromise. And I'm like, sounds like you're telling him he needs to compromise too.
And you're gonna do your own thing.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know what to make heads or tails of their relationship right now. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like half of the people are gonna hate me for saying this. I just think that Vanessa, from what I've seen as a viewer, is way too good for Nick.
Yeah.
So that's just like through the eyes that I watch it. You know.
I don't. You
But
think it's
I
gonna be
mean-
half and half, hate and love that comment? I think you're gonna get like 90-10, baby.
Yeah, 90-10. Everyone's like unfollow.
Yeah.
No, I think he means the other way around.
No. That people support you. They're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we're feeling
yeah.
too. Vanessa's a catch.
Yeah,
Why-
I mean, I think she is like a damn 10.
She
Like,
is.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I mean,
but I turned to Brooks during the episode. I was like, damn, like, what does she see in Nick? Like,
Yeah.
what is she just fawning over? Is it like the experience, this capture of this, warped journey that she's
Right.
in, or like
Well, I mean, think
we-
about this too. She lives in Canada. What are the options like in Canada?
I don't know.
I mean,
Guys,
the population.
what's his name from the
I don't
from
know,
the
eh?
Bachelor?
Daniel.
Yeah,
Daniel. I miss
Daniel.
Daniel. Damn, Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel.
Can I ask you a
Why didn't
question?
He's
you
gonna be back.
snatch Vanessa up?
He's gonna be back to paradise.
That's right. Yeah. Can I ask you a question
Yeah.
about Vanessa? Just
Yeah.
in terms of like having met her, knowing her.
Yeah.
She said tonight, and this kind of goes along with what you're saying, Christina, or Chelsea. Gotcha.
Wow.
Zing.
It's the name guy over here.
So my question is, she
What is that,
expressed some
Brody?
like vulnerability. She was like, I'm really not vulnerability. She said, I'm now feeling insecure. My insecurities are now coming out.
Yeah.
Did at any point you feel like she was insecure at the house?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah,
you
for
could
sure,
sense that.
For sure. I told her at one point, I said, if you can do this, if you can stick this out, he'll choose you. And like, cause she was just having
You
a
could
hard
see it.
time. After it was the group date, I think, where Corinne took her top off, and she was just having such a hard time. Her connection with him was so strong. Like, I'm a huge Vanessa fan, I really am, and she is just like very classy, but she has a very strong presence. And when she sees something and she wants it, she goes after it. And she was just like, I remember standing up on the balcony, and she's like stressing out. I'm like, Vanessa, if you can stick this out, he'll choose you, you know?
Yeah.
And
I
she's
gotta
like,
say, the house needs a new mental health counselor. I think you were on it. Like Taylor's name was misappropriated.
I felt like that was my role most of the time. I'm
You
like,
were.
Nick, will you just please keep me to be the mascot? Come on.
That's Alexa's job. She's like, bitch.
I know. She's like mascot. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Then I'll just be the one who goes around and like is friends with all the girls.
Yeah. Wait, who was that? Was Lacey, right? That said that.
Lacey or Haley? I can't remember.
Who was that girl that's like, were you friend zoning me?
Yeah,
Who was
Lacey.
that?
Lacey.
Lacey. What?
We know her name
Guys,
now.
we're
which
not
sounds
even
like
we're
it
not
worked.
even to the women tell lies. So the
Okay,
rose ceremony,
sorry.
obviously
Followers
Nick
out
is
of it.
crazy emotional. You can tell he's wrecked. He keeps the two girls and lets Rachel go. All right, now we can go to women tell all.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you guys hear any of that?
No idea.
Awesome, perfect.
No idea.
We should have publicized our little side
There you
conversation.
go. There's a lot of excitement in this.
We were throwing shade, so
Okay.
I was throwing more shade than I threw at Women's All All.
Let's go to rose ceremony.
Okay.
So pre-show, walk us through because I have no idea, and I know we
Yeah.
have Brooks here, but Kristen from you from this
Yeah.
season.
I have no idea.
You get there. What is it like before the show? What happens backstage?
Yeah,
what do
yeah,
they tell you?
Okay,
What
so
drugs are you
get
doing?
in right, exactly,
Right.
all of the above. So you get in a holding room, and you're in there with two other girls. There's like three of you in there. So it was me
all
and
holding each other.
Alexis. We were all holding each other.
Okay.
So
Starting off
she,
nice.
Wait,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Why only three?
They just kind of keep you separated.
you're
They
in
don't like you to
each-
see everyone. I don't know what the
Oh.
method is actually. So I was with Haley, who was one of the Canadians, and then Alexis, the shark.
Yeah. And you and Alexis
sorry,
are
the
good friends
dolphin.
outside the show.
I love her. She's a fantastic human. So we were back there just honestly having a blast, like really excited to be back together. Producers would stop in and visit us, and then the team would come around and do like Bachelor Snapchats and you know, like all the press and pretend this is live. We're gonna show this on Monday. You know, the production, and so then they slowly filter like a couple other in. So then they brought Liz in, and Liz and I are like, oh, of course we're in the same room. We adore each other, but
Yeah.
it was just like,
Yeah.
you know, they want us to
Yeah.
be in the same room. So that's kind of how it works. And then they're like, all right, ladies, are you ready? Here we go. And it's all so surreal because you're seeing each other again for the first time in a while. And, you know, Nick's back, like all that stuff. So then they take you out to your seats. They seat you, and you're just kind of chilling. Of course, you have drinks and snacks beforehand, and mostly drinks. And then they're like, honestly, it's like, you know, in the start of a marathon when they're just like ready, blow the horn. And I'm just thinking we're going to like have to be coaxed into conversation.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, they
The
just
thirst.
No.
They just all like start going. And literally Alexis and I look at each other. I'm like, we're back in the Twilight Zone.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Heads will roll.
go. Yeah.
So that's kind of the pre.
Whoa. Do you
Pre-show.
think Nick? I guess I want to talk about this season as a whole because you saw it and you're friends with a lot of people and you hear the ins and the outs of all of it. Then you've watched it on TV. Do you think Nick was a good bachelor?
Oof.
Ooh, putting him on the spot.
All right.
Is she watching this right now? You know, it's a hard position to be in. I would have preferred to be on Ben's season.
Have you watched a lot of it? You've seen other bachelors?
Yeah, I've watched I've watched everything pretty much since Sean's season. on low.
Why
Yeah.
Ben's season? What about Ben?
You know what? I think that he valued different things than Nick valued, and so for me, I think that would have worked out better.
Can you highlight a couple of those things? I'm so curious as what you would say, because this is
Yeah, this
just
is
because Ben and Nick
speculation.
are such different individuals. So
Right.
yeah, what did you feel
Right.
like he valued that maybe?
I
Ben
think
didn't?
like Ben wasn't someone who you like had to lead with physicality with to like get his attention or make comments about like that to get his attention. I think that he more was looking for just chemistry and like someone he could have obviously like physical chemistry with, but also like great conversation with and had like similar like. I feel like Ben and I's mindsets are similar, so.
So
it
Ben's
would've been better
conversation
for
would be
me.
like, let's not do the physical at me, dilute
I
our
don't
emotional
think-
process. So let's prolong that a little bit. As where Nick is like, I lead with chemistry first, we
Yeah.
talk later, and that's why maybe Corinne was so
Yeah.
compelling
Well,
to
we
him.
also
Yeah.
saw that too because him and Vanessa didn't even talk about where each other would live until their fantasy date.
Right.
And they're talking about compromises in her and her family Sunday dinners. Like he puts so much chemistry first and then
Right.
has these conversations that are a necessity to moving
Right.
forward
Like that's just
later.
that's just
Yeah.
beyond.
Let's talk about
And I
that
will-
when we're about to have sex.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Oh, maybe this. Yeah. So to your friend's point, who said he's gonna have sex with me and then dump me, like.
Yeah.
Those are the things you should talk about way before you get anywhere close to
Yeah.
that situation.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's get an amen on that.
Amen. Amen. That's all. By the way, well, let's just let's do this. So, Women's Hall. I want to. You mentioned Liz. Let's start with Liz, because, and I said this at the top of our show this season, that I've known Liz for about a decade, and I've known you. You're the only two that I knew from the season beforehand a little bit. And I'm technically related to someone that your friend. How is this?
Are you related to them? It's like Josh Hoyt,
And Brianna.
Brianna Hoyt.
Yeah,
Do you guys
so-
just share a last name, or do you actually
Well,
share
anybody that
genetics?
has the same last name, like somewhere you're.
Somewhere up the line.
Yeah,
And I
we
mean,
look-
like,
and we look
Hoyts,
similar.
that Tim Hoyt, then their dad married my mom's sister.
Yeah. So technically, we're like kind of related in a really weird, long roundabout.
Can we get a family tree here somewhere
Yeah.
up on the screen?
But so it's safe to say that you guys won't be exploring ever a relationship just because it's too close. Not that it never could work. You're just
He
like, I
shares a
can't
last
do it.
name with a relative of mine.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
too close.
It's not. It's
It's
not,
too close for
yeah, it's
comfort.
but we can be great friends.
That's
Okay,
great.
yeah.
That's
and we can be
great.
friends
That's
on,
off the
in
table
the real
then.
world.
I'm very partial to Hoyts, so.
But no, so I want to talk about Liz, and you know, you were the one that we saw on national TV. She opened up to, and had this conversation by the pool.
Yeah.
And we kind of see this, and she got branded as the girl who slept with
She
Nick.
did, yeah.
And then we watched her tonight have this redeeming moment. Did it feel as powerful in studio
Yeah.
as it felt to America tonight?
Great question. That's a great question. So 100%. I was so damn proud of her. Like her eloquence up there is the real Liz, and what got shown was such a small snippet that was overemphasized. That wasn't her. Of course, that's all you're gonna see. Like
Yeah.
the Liz that I got to know is incredible, and like I mean, she brought that up, wanted to get it off her chest, but it was just a small part, not why she came on. She didn't come on for fame. She actually genuinely wanted to. She said multiple times, if Nick does not see anything with me, I want him to send me home now. I
Wow.
want him to send me home now. I wouldn't say that. I'm like, Nick, if you don't see anything with me, keep me
Keep
on
till the
another 4
final
weeks. Keep me till the final 3 and then send me home. That's
I
fine.
want to fly around the world.
Exactly. And she's like, no, I need to talk to him.
Yeah.
I need to talk to him because I want him to send me home if he does not see anything with me.
Chelsea, as a woman, did you feel like she gained some respect from other women and kind of speaking your piece and speaking empowerment into other women?
Yeah, hands down. And I mean, watching her through the season, to be honest, I wasn't a fan because that's how I viewed her.
That's why I
that's
asked you
all.
that.
Yeah,
Because
that's
she
all
had
I
like
knew.
one interview that was played on repeat.
The whole thing, I'm like, God, like talk about being thirsty. You know, like
Yeah.
here you are,
Yeah.
like already having a previous relationship for a man, not following up, and then appearing on a nationwide show. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so that's how I perceived her. But after tonight, I thought that was super badass. Like that
Yeah.
took, you know,
She's
she
a
had a really
badass.
brave heart. And I thought that was awesome.
Let's dovetail that contrast. Was it as awkward and weird with Taylor? Because if there could have been a redeeming moment for anybody, I feel
could
like
have been
Taylor was in desperate need of one. Do you feel like she got any redemption in her hot seat moment?
Oh, that is a really great question. So I kind of am gonna like seesaw around that question. Taylor, tonight I was with her before I came here, and like the response that she's gotten on social media has been a little bit hard for me to understand because
But she hasn't even seen the episode before you came here, right?
Right.
So she was reading comments about an episode.
people were
she
watching it
hadn't
on the
seen
East
yet.
Coast, so she's reading comments about an episode that
Dangerous.
she hadn't seen yet. It's dangerous.
Dangerous.
Like I tried to take her phone multiple times, and so I don't know. It was such a blur, Brooks. Like I don't know if she had a redeeming moment. I think it seemed like the two of them were bickering a lot during Women's Tell All. I don't know. I know that her edit overemphasized things that weren't such an emphasis in the house, and so I don't think she had a good edit. I think that she didn't necessarily need a huge redeeming moment, but yet she did because she has so many haters now.
Yeah, I mean, I think she definitely did. Or, you know, from what we've seen, like, on
Yeah.
our side, like, I mean, I'm not a fan of Taylor. You know, like, just from watching the show, like, I'm not.
Well, I feel like Women Tell All is like in any good storytelling, right? At the very end of the movie, all the loose ends get tied
Yeah.
up, right? And that's what the Women Tell All
And you
is.
feel
It's
like
a
that
ti-
didn't happen with her.
It's a tying up of loose
Yeah.
ends, and with Taylor, I feel like the audience is pretty forgiving. Like on any season, if you know, even Chad, like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, right, this is what I was doing. I apologize if that's
Yeah.
if that's what, at least if there's an apology made and amends made, then we all go, okay, moving
Well,
on.
and to
There's
Taylor's
nothing.
credit,
Nothing.
To Taylor's credit, though, she was, because I think it was Whitney who said you guys are both kind of talking down to each other. She finally called him out at one point.
Yeah.
Taylor's the only one who apologized.
Yeah,
I
that's what
have
I
to
was
give props
actually
to
getting
Taylor.
ready to
Did
say.
Corinne say anything?
So I mean, Corinne has this
As you're
big
putting on
like.
lipstick.
This is amazing.
Sorry.
I hope
She's
you're getting
she's
this.
so Tennessee Nashville. I love it.
So Corinne has this like, you know what I mean? Like I can't be bothered with this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Taylor genuinely was apologizing.
Wow.
Well, and she's genuinely bothered by the whole
And
situation.
genuinely very
So
bothered.
bothered.
Yes.
Very bothered.
It's true.
She has gotten like a lot of hate that I would love to like speak out to for a minute because no one should have to put up with that. Like if you go through
Yeah.
and read through the comments on her thing, I'm like, what are we crucifying her for? That's what I'm
Yeah.
actually trying to figure out. And you
It's-
guys can even answer that. Like what as
It's
a viewer?
public shaming. We do that as
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
the
And because
old-
people are like,
everyone
I'm
hides
entitled.
behind their device.
They do, and I
It's just
tweeted
easy
about
to
it, and
do.
everyone's like, "It's a show. I'm entitled to say what I want." I'm like, these are real people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say what you want to a degree, but when you're just actually just cutthroat trying to destroy someone with your
Yeah.
words, why?
well,
Well,
it's like
it's not just people either. The show also, the way they edited her, it made her look like
100%.
garbage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and the show will do that, and it drives me nuts.
I hate that.
They will go, "Hey, we're not going to let you publicly shame Caitlyn Barstow when the whole the slut shaming happened."
they'll edit
But they did
her.
the same thing to Juan Pablo, and they just whatever will get them the ratings.
For
they
sure.
will
They
do.
don't care.
And
Yeah,
here's
they
the
don't
thing.
That's
here's
their
the-
job.
Sure, Taylor said some things and acted in some ways. But so did Corinne. So did other people. So did Jasmine. Said some weird. You know, like, everybody had moments. where
Jasmine said
where
so
stuff
many
was
weird
just, like,
things.
off.
Yeah.
But I don't think, to your point, Kristen, I don't think Taylor should have been crucified for what she was crucified for.
But at the same point, kind of like taking it back to what Brooke said, like
Way back.
if Taylor could have came in, like obviously she knows she's going to be put on the hot seat, right? Like
Yes.
come in and have something prepared. Her communication was so off.
Sure.
Like just come in hot. Like if she needed to stand in the mirror for a whole night and practice a speech, then like that's what you need to do. Like
Yeah.
you're going to have
Yes.
that one moment to be like, here's how I feel. Here's what's happened. Here's my viewpoint. Bam, bam.
Bam.
Like
Thank
do
you,
your
ma'am.
thing.
Envision what their responses are
like
going to
at
be.
least she could have
Declog.
done her part, but like she just sat up there and it was like watching two high school girls just like, well, you know, just like clocking over each other. Like if you're gonna be like, yeah, like little chickens, like just speak your words, you know. And it was just so.
Yeah.
I think
That's rough.
I mean it's rough. I mean no one deserves that, but like if she could have came in, I think a little hot and prepared.
Let's hope that she gets some
Corinne
interviews or
walking
something.
out and getting the champagne was one of my favorite moments.
That was funny.
It was,
I
that
mean,
was funny.
Corinne is
Was that
my
as funny
favorite-
in studio?
yeah.
as
I
it-
cheered. I thought it was really funny.
It's really funny.
I
You
was
guys,
like,
Corinne
oh
held
no,
the
what's
whole
happening?
season.
She didn't walk. She strutted.
Yeah.
Strutted.
Well, Corinne held the whole season because they decided for whatever reason to give her X amount of airtime. Now, if you had
Yeah.
actually been there and seen everything, it was hilarious all the time.
Is she
so
like that?
many personalities. No, she's very quiet in a group setting. So this is what I'm saying. If you choose to work the interview room, you can be the star of the show. And so that's what we were all very naive to, because when we were in a group setting, it was hilarious. We were bouncing off of each other all the time. It was fun. It was crazy. It was nuts. It was hilarious. If they had shown that, I think it would have made great TV. But instead, the entire season was the Corinne show. The entire season was her interview room, and I think it got exhausting. And I think she's funny. but I think it got exhausting.
I was surprised she lasted that long because, like, for example, with Chad, they had to remove him because he became too much of the dominant narrative, and Corinne did the same.
I will say though, to Corinne's credit, and I think Chelsea and I, we were talking about this, we both feel the same way. Like at first I was like, oh my god, this girl is awful.
Yeah.
And then I was like, but she's kind of TV gold. And then it switched to me where I'm like, dear God, she's freaking amazing to watch.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to watch some reality show where it's Corinne Olympios and her family.
Yeah.
I guarantee
Whatever the hell they do with their money and whatever.
Guarantee I'm not tuning in.
I guarantee I will. I guarantee I will tune in.
I guarantee I will too. Like,
I like the idea. I don't have time for that.
I mean, like, I'm also the girl that like loves watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. You know what I mean?
Yeah, every
like,
once in a while
it's
it's
just
nice
like
for some
same
trash.
yeah,
stuff.
like it's just
kind of
like
the same
good like
stuff.
trash TV like that.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, and I think
not that Corinne
So
is
in person,
Okay.
Corinne, in person, I will say this: like, I think Corinne's a sweetheart. You know,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
she is.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Yeah, no, in person, she was very like she was usually pretty quiet. So that's what's so funny that she is
You guys are all
the
surprised.
star of the show.
Like, which episode was it this season when you were
I
like,
always
oh
kind
my
of
gosh, I
knew,
didn't
like in
realize.
her interviews, sometimes I would peek over to try to see because I knew they loved getting her in the interview room, and it's because she just turned in, like in the interview room, she's just like,
Boom.
Which episode was it this season where you were watching? You're like, oh my god, I had no idea it was like she was doing all this. It was like episode 3, 4 when you're like,
2 probably.
really?
I mean,
Early.
she
Did
came
you
in
were you
hot
guys all
from the
texting
beginning.
like?
Yeah.
You get, like surprised by
Yeah,
this?
100%.
So everyone was.
Yeah.
Who's in your group text?
Well, we had an entire group text, and then we had a group Snapchat. It's different. Each of them are kind of
Okay.
different, but the way it works is there's like a group text, and as soon as you get off, you get brought into the group text. Just throw shade at Nick and talk about the drama. So yeah, as
That's
girls get
awesome.
off, like
I
they have
love
more
that.
dirt. So it's like they
Yeah,
come
yeah,
into
yeah.
the
Oh, yeah,
text.
tell us new
One of the
stuff.
producers like earlier on, and she's like, okay, I know there's a group chat going on. Just send me a couple of screenshots.
Oh my gosh!
I
Did
love
you?
that.
I don't think I did.
Is that like against the rules? It's
Change
like
the
against the rules.
subject.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about if Corinne was so quiet in group settings, where was the moment? Because for most villains, the way it happens is they're one way with the group, and then they're another way with the individual.
It's like
the-
JJ Lane said, villains got a vil.
Villain's got a vil. So how with Corinne did then Taylor get the like impression that like she was this? Like, do you think the producers fed that to her? Because it doesn't sound like she got it in a group setting.
Oh, great question. Well, Corinne would always still Nick first. I wasn't on the date where Corinne kept interrupting Taylor.
Yeah.
That was the second episode, or maybe
That's
the
right.
first. And she kept interrupting Taylor, and then that was also the time where she took her top off and got the rose. And
That's
so everyone
when-
was trying to get time with Nick, and then she kept interrupting.
And that's when she
So-
made the comment that made no sense when she was like, about interrupting. She's like, interrupting is fine.
Interrupting is
but
fine.
then, like, you don't interrupt me.
Yeah,
Or something like
yeah,
that. And we were all like,
yeah.
wait, what? That doesn't make any sense, Corinne. Yeah. Okay. What are you guys laughing about over there?
Courtesy
What
of
happened?
Okay.
champagne.
So I started to yawn.
Not at you, like she
Not
legit.
at you.
Yeah.
I was just yawning,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
caught me very awkwardly.
I saw her
It's
yawn.
contagious because I was yawning, and I think
He
you
saw me yawn.
me.
He gave me the eye. I was like,
For
sorry, I'm
those
really
of you
tired.
listening to the podcast in your car, yeah, Chelsea started yawning, and I gave her a look like, what are you freaking doing?
Like, I
You
couldn't
know?
hold it in. I'm sorry.
And then I have, YouTube up because I have the chat roll on for the
And it
people that are
caught me.
watching
It was
live. and
really
she
cute face.
definitely. Also,
They
though,
got me.
Kristen,
I
when
was
you were
yawning,
putting
I think.
your lipstick on earlier, we definitely got that.
Oh boy.
A nice
Gotcha.
little
Behind the
meme.
scenes, reality TV, you guys, it's
I'll
very
just
real.
high five myself.
Oh girl.
Okay, so Kristen, give us something that like we wouldn't expect. Something in the house, something maybe that happened behind the scenes. Give us something like America. Nothing too, I don't want to throw any
Right. Okay.
something.
So you
I was
would
giving you time to
think-
think of something.
No, it's okay. I do have this. This is actually kind of funny. You would think that there's two things I have. You would think that being a house full of girls and they want you to look good, you'd have like a lot of like space and everything. No, you're
Right.
crammed into one bathroom, sharing a tiny little
No.
mirror. We'd sit out on the patio outside, and we'd all like peek into this mirror and try to do our makeup. Like 5 faces in this mirror outside that we're trying to prop up, and the wind keeps blowing it over, while 5 other girls are inside in a tiny little closet in one mirror, like trying to do their makeup, stepping over top of each other, putting their everything on.
Why did
Clothes
you do that?
everywhere.
Clothes everywhere. So there's that. Number
Wait,
two.
wait. Did you guys share clothes?
We did.
Okay.
That was a huge. I thought there's no way. Like
Yeah.
before, I'm like, these
No
girls
way.
are gonna be savage. There's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We aren't gonna be friends. I
Yeah.
want to be friends, but I don't think we will.
Right.
And girls are like, wear this. This looks great on you.
Do you think that they were doing that as like a savage move? Like, oh, this is so your color.
Like,
not
yeah,
your
like,
color.
you know, in
myself
Mean
and I'm like,
Girls?
this does look good on me.
Yeah.
Or Mean Girls, she's like, never mind, I'm not gonna go there.
Alright,
Yeah,
so-
no, everyone was all like, this is a new generation. Women empower women. So that's kind of the crew that it was. It was great.
So this is something fun we like to do sometimes. So we're gonna do a little rapid fire question for you. You just like
Okay,
one
okay.
word answer kind of questions.
Okay,
I'll
okay.
start. Chelsea, Brooks, we'll go around a
I'm
couple
not
times.
ready.
Like Kristen,
And then
I would
I'll-
like
chat
yes
roll.
or no answers.
Yes.
Chat roll. If you guys have a yes or no question, you can throw them in and try to get some. First
I'm
question.
sick. Sorry.
Favorite person in the house? Producer, guy, girl, doesn't matter. Favorite person in
Okay,
the house.
honestly,
Had to pick one.
honestly, probably I really love one of the executive producers, Elon. He's the crazy hair
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Go for it.
He's the iconic
All right.
Jewish
Chelsea?
producer. Yeah.
Would you do it again?
Yes.
Are you gonna do Bachelor in Paradise if you're offered?
If I'm asked, and there's a guy going on who I would actually be interested in, yes. Because the worst thing that I could do is go on and stay on for 3
Yeah.
days and go home.
If Daniel from Canada was the guy on Bachelor in Paradise that you were hoping and he was there, would you go?
Daniel, only if he wears his Speedo.
Speedo, the Canadian one.
Is there
Gotcha.
one guy that you're hoping that's on Bachelor in Paradise?
Not at this point.
Okay.
How many DMs have you gotten on Instagram since the show?
Oh boy, the DM game is strong. No dick pics,
Hey.
honestly. A lot of
Okay.
It's disappointing, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Guys out there listening, what's your...
Yeah,
what's
that
your...
wasn't an offer. The funny thing was, this one I got like yesterday or the day before was like, first of all, I think you should talk to me because this is not a dick pic. And then I scroll for like 8 pictures of like his abs in the mirror.
Oh gosh. Corey Shackelford off chat roll. Was Corinne as beautiful in person?
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, Chelsea.
You asked favorite person?
Yeah.
Then who is your least favorite person?
Your face right now.
Okay, actually, there was a producer who.
You're allowed to say this stuff. It's a show.
Yeah.
You can
No, but
like
I don't want
people
them to
and,
see it.
and not like people.
That's okay. They're not
That's
watching.
okay.
Girl, do you? This is how Corinne got. She
Yeah,
just
listen
tells
to
it
what
like it
Liz
is.
said.
I
Just
know.
do you.
Just do you.
Yeah, peel that back when it's open.
Does it have to
it's
be a girl? Least favorite person, Nick. No, I'm just kidding.
It could be Nick.
A lot of times when he come,
It's
I
probably
was
the
like,
most
"Ugh,
politically correct answer you can
buzzkill."
give.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I think there was a producer actually that annoyed the shit out of me. He was always like trying to act. He was just very awkward, always trying to like buddy up to you, and he ended up getting fired during our season.
No way.
And just really awkward with us, and then he'd pull you into a room and he'd ask these like insanely personal, like just different, like just crossing lines in weird ways,
Yeah.
and we were all just kind of like, what is going on?
Bachelor in
But as
Paradise,
far
a
as
producer
girls go,
snuck in
no.
after one of the girls had gotten,
No.
just as she had gotten off the show, got in. The other producers found out that he was in there sleeping with her. They
No.
went in to confront him. He jumped from the balcony and broke
Yeah.
both of his legs. They had to take him to the hospital.
You guys, they showed this on TV. You guys remember this?
And
Yeah.
I slept through this.
They showed it. Yeah, they showed this whole story
I
on
was
TV. It was
napping.
Yeah.
wild, and they recreated it with like a dummy
That's
falling
right.
off the balcony.
That's right, yeah.
was
So
amazing.
crazy
I
shit
missed
happens
that.
with these producers.
Okay, speaking of Paradise, name one person from the franchise. If they were in Paradise, you would go hands down, no question. One guy.
Aside from Ben.
Okay. This is I'm torn on this.
Yeah.
Can
maybe
I
if
like
there's-
give
Do
the
both.
answer?
Say,
Yep.
say both of them.
No, can I give the answer and then say like why it's not
whatever
actually
you
Yes,
want.
granted.
the
Tune
answer?
in.
Allowed.
Okay. So immediately if you ask me that, my answer would be Chase. Now that being said, a lot of girls want him, and I'm not into like chasing after a
Chasing
guy
Chase.
who a
Yeah.
lot of girls want, and I think he's kind of a playboy probably, but he's very nice. So.
Because do you think it went to his head or something? Because all of a sudden all these girls are going after him?
They,
You're like,
the
now
guys
you're...
get off the show and they become like serial, not even daters because they don't date. They just become total committophobes.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
it's just like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yo, girl.
Rinse and repeats.
Yeah.
So it's very
DTL.
disappointing.
Would you have gone on
Down
this
to
season
watch
if it was Luke instead of Nick?
Yes.
Was there a moment when you were with, like, Nick and you thought, oh, like when you first showed up, we'll assume like, oh, best foot forward, hoping everything goes good, something could happen. Was there a moment when you're like, yeah, this isn't going to happen between me and him? I know it for sure.
yes. When I saw the things that he was connecting with the other girls on.
And that's not you.
And it
you were
wasn't
like,
me at all. And I'm like, in
register.
no world did Nick and I ever date. So maybe he'll
Math,
just keep me anyway.
Math Pin Hanan on chat roll asks, and I've had a couple of people ask this, I heard that all rooms had laxatives around the house for girls to use and stay fit. True or false?
Oh my gosh, no, there really are laxatives.
No, what?
Yeah, but I don't think it's like to stay fit. I think it's because you're so stressed that you get really constipated. And all the alcohol, you don't get a lot of water.
Oh
So
my God.
that's so funny. I don't think it's like no one was like taking them to just, I mean, can you
To be-
imagine? Like you'd be
No.
on the toilet on your group date the
Yeah.
whole time.
I think Taylor must have taken. She
So-
did in the bloopers fart and said I wasn't eating well.
Yeah, she did
so
say, or she
maybe
said I
was
wasn't
taking
eating.
them.
Last question, and this is going to give you a chance to show off how beautiful and amazing of a human you are. Little Miss asks, why did you go on The Bachelor if you were saving yourself?
Well, because I did not intend all along. I knew I wasn't going to sleep with him. And for me, it was a great opportunity that I couldn't walk away from. My sister nominated me back in the spring, and one thing led to another. And at first I thought, this is a joke. But then it started to get really exciting. And so for me, like, I've always wanted to be in the entertainment industry and to just, like, still stand for what I believe in, but still, like, not be, like, some like prude that locks myself away in the closet. Like I'm not like that. So I think for me it was like, oh my gosh, this is an incredible opportunity. I'm gonna meet great people. I'm gonna network. I could fall in love, depending on who the guy is. 100%, I thought I could. Yeah, I didn't think like just because you're on The Bachelor means you have to sleep with the guy.
Can I add to that too? Because I think it's a very
Yeah.
common question for people to ask former contestants, or people that they're like, okay, cool, we've got a little bit of rapport. They'll ask. So I mean, like, do you really think people go on the show because they are going to find their husband or wife? And it's like, well, what would you do if you were going on the show? Well, I'd go with an open mind, and like if it happened, it happened. Like that's what everyone does.
That's what everyone does.
Like people aren't
100%.
psycho going like, that's gonna be my
is it.
husband, my wife.
Yeah.
What are you going to do now?
When you go through the process. I'm living in Nashville now. I'm gonna come co-host the show with you since they all just quit tonight.
Yeah, it is.
We'll see what happens with Paradise. I honestly, if you ask me right now, I would love to go on Paradise because one, it's a free vacation.
Hello.
2, it's a great brand builder.
Hello.
Hello. 3, I think it's fun, like, to be on camera. I mean, even though you get a lot of haters for things you never really thought you get haters for.
And not a lot of dick pics.
Yeah, a lot of dick pics, but you just change your privacy settings. And but I'm gonna go back to Nashville, and I'm just gonna like dream chase a little bit. I maybe will start a fitness blog. That's something I'm really passionate about. Yes, I may be that basic white girl who goes on The Bachelor and then starts a blog, but that's something I've been wanting to do.
Haters gonna
forever.
hate. Haters gonna hate.
Damn
You
bloggers.
do you.
Haters
Kristen,
gonna
thank
hate.
you
Girls
so
gotta
much
hustle.
for joining us here on AfterBuzz TV. We wish you the best. We
Thank
hope to
you,
see you
guys.
in Paradise.
Thank you.
If you
guys
are, we will
awesome.
be here talking about it.
That's
We'll be breaking it
right.
down. Well, at least some
You'll
of us will
be here talking about
Guys, this is. I'm gonna be gone next week. Down at South by Southwest.
I know.
So this is Chelsea and I's last show. She's not gonna be here.
I think I'm getting more emotional about this than I ever did on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sad.
It's really sad. And
Say your goodbyes, you guys.
Brooks might be too, and I'm not gonna be here. This might be
Yeah.
like the last time you see
three
Chelsea,
of our
Danny,
faces.
and
Yeah,
Brooks
Brooks.
on this panel together, and that's a giant sad face.
Yeah. It's been fun.
It's been real.
It has
It's been real, guys.
And it's been
It has
real
been a
fun.
good time.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say real fun.
Chris!
There it is.
Guys, thanks for joining us
With
right here. In the meantime, Brooks, where can people find you on
You
social
can
media?
find me on Instagram and Twitter at Brooks Forster. That's right. I got my name, biatches.
Biatches.
Kristen, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Kristen_May_Whitney or on Snapchat, I think just Kristen May. Twitter.
See how
Kristen
confusing
May
that is?
_ May's my middle name, Whitney's my last name. Kristen is my first name, pronounced Kristen, not Christine.
That's a good name.
Not Christina, not
If Quinn was here,
Christian.
she'd be asleep already.
Chelsea,
Yeah.
where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at millennialmiss, and my blog is themillennialmiss.com.
Oh, that's
You're crushing it, and you got some big news
Crushing it.
coming up soon.
Yeah, I do have some big names coming.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, not yet.
All right, not
Okay.
yet. You can find me at Danny Hoyt on everything, and just a little sneak peek. I'm dropping something tomorrow. I've been working really hard on something for quite a while, and it launches tomorrow, and I could not be more
goodness.
excited about it. Brooks is involved as well.
You're-
And,
Uh-oh, what is this?
Brooke.
I just got choked up because I'm so
Yeah.
excited. Like, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but Brooke's involved. Josh, our producer, is involved. There's a few people that will be on what we're dropping, but it goes live tomorrow morning. So if you follow me on anything, I'll be posting about it tomorrow, and all of you can be involved in it.
I'll be posting it tomorrow too.
All right, love you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Cool, bye. See you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bye. See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.